Well, as we heard from Bloomberg's chief Washington correspondent Peter Cook just moments ago, President Obama's debt reduction panel has unveiled a $3.8 trillion savings plan. One of the major cuts recommended by the panel is in defense spending. And earlier I talked to Dennis Muilenburg, the CEO of Boeing's Defense, Space and Security Division, about the recommendations. I asked him how the potential multi-billion-dollar cuts could impact Boeing's sales.
I think the key is we need to be realistic about the defense budget environment, and a lot of different scenarios that are being portrayed right now in terms of what the future might be. And we've seen anywhere from a flat top-line defense budget over the next 5 years to potentially declining defense budgets. From our perspective, the key is to have a robust scenario, a robust plan that protects against all of those scenarios.
So let's talk a little bit about your international strategy. You were in India. Is that a big area of growth for you, Asia in general?
Yeah. We see strong international growth, in particular in the Asia-Pacific region, including India, as well as in the Middle East. Today, or this year, we'll have about 18% of our revenues will be outside the domestic U.S. We expect that in 5 years to be 25% of our defense revenues outside of the U.S. Principal growth areas in the Middle East and in the Asia-Pacific. India is one of the strongest markets we see.
What products specifically? I mean, we mentioned cybersecurity. Is that where you see the biggest area of growth, whether it's in the U.S. or outside?
Yeah, we see 3 areas of strong growth. One is in international platform sales, so products like the C-17, our F-18 Super Hornet, the F-15 helicopters, all strong international demand. We also see growth in the services business, both domestically and internationally. And then lastly, in what we call our adjacencies. These are areas like cybersecurity, networking technology, and unmanned systems.
What is happening in cybersecurity? I mean, it's very hard for those of us who are not within your industry to really understand, because most of what we see is, I think, through movies or sort of fictional, but the reality is actually probably a little bit more advanced than what we see.
Yeah, cybersecurity is certainly leading edge technology, and the market in that area is quickly evolving. Traditionally, we've used defensive cybersecurity to protect our infrastructure. That continues to be important to big companies like Boeing that have global supply chains. Now we're looking also at offensive capabilities, and some of our customers have a need for that kind of capacity. I think overall we'll see a convergence between traditional defense markets and this broader cybersecurity market that even gets into commercial infrastructure protection, things like the power grid, things like global supply chains. That is a big market move that we expect to see over the next several years, and I think we're well positioned to leverage that.
Do you expect to see a lot of expansion in terms of employees potentially that you add, or more acquisitions in the cybersecurity market?
Yeah, we do see strong growth in the cybersecurity market. We anticipate double-digit growth in that market. That includes employment growth. We've also made targeted acquisitions in that space, most recently companies like Norris that add incredible talent and technology to our cyber business base. So we expect to continue to grow in that area. We also see a link between productivity and growth. So some of the restructuring that we've done is designed to reduce our cost base, make us more productive as a business, which allows us to reinvest for growth in areas like cyber.
Any potential acquisitions on the horizon?
Well, we continue to be active on mergers and acquisitions. We've done 10 acquisitions over the last 3 years in our defense business. Those have been strategically targeted at some of our growth areas like unmanned systems, services, and cyber. And we expect to continue to be active there as part of our business strategy. The key is, first we have a business strategy. That's followed by strategic acquisitions to fill gaps in that strategy.
There was a deal this fall that was announced by the U.S. Air Force, and it was for the refueling tankers. And it was you were competing with a European company, and they actually gave this contract to the European company. Was that sort of a surprise to you? And what does that say about the way the U.S. military is thinking about our U.S. military companies versus sort of what is happening overseas?
Yeah, I think what you're referring to there is the previous tanker competition. So we're actually in the next competition right now as we speak. So it's an ongoing competition for the U.S. Air Force next generation tanker. We submitted our proposal back in July. We're currently going through the evaluation process, and we're anticipating a customer decision in the early part of 2011.
And is that something that's factored into your projections for bottom line for next year?
It's certainly an important part of our business. We provide the tanker fleet to the U.S. Air Force today, and it's a privilege for us to be able to support our Air Force customer. And we continue to work in that larger mobility area as an important market for the future.
That was Boeing Defense Chief Dennis Muilenburg.